On October 9, 2025, the United Kingdom and India signed a landmark $468 million defense deal, signaling a deepening strategic, economic, and technological partnership. The centerpiece of this agreement is the supply of lightweight multi-role missiles to the Indian Army, manufactured by UK-based defense contractor Thales. These precision shoulder-launched missiles are designed for use against drones, light vehicles, and low-flying aircraft. Beyond its commercial value, the deal reflects shifting global dynamics and a recalibration of alliances in the face of evolving threats and post-pandemic geopolitical realities. This agreement was announced during British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer's official visit to Mumbai, where he met Narendra Modi. Accompanied by the largest ever UK business delegation to India, Starmer's visit underscored a broader ambition to cement a future-oriented, high-value partnership that spans defense, technology, trade, and climate resilience. Starmer described the relationship as mutually transformative, aimed at creating thousands of high-skilled jobs in both countries and accelerating joint development across strategic sectors. For the UK, this deal is a crucial step in reclaiming its status as a global arms exporter. The country has lost significant ground in the international arms market over the past 2 decades. The UK accounted for just 3.2% of global arms exports between 2018 and 2022, compared to 11% for the US and 21% for Russia. Countries like France and China have surpassed the UK, with France even overtaking Russia in some segments, owing to sanctions and logistical delays tied to the Ukraine war. Brexit further complicated the UK's defence posture, limiting access to EU defence programmes and prompting a strategic pivot toward Indo-Pacific markets. In this context, India emerges as both a strategic partner and a high-growth market. With one of the largest militaries in the world and a defense budget exceeding 80 billion in 2025, the third largest globally, India is accelerating its military modernization program to counter growing regional threats. India's defense buildup is driven primarily by rising tensions with China, particularly after the 2020 Galwan Valley clash that resulted in the deaths of 20 Indian soldiers and several Chinese troops. Since then, China has increased its military infrastructure along the Himalayan border and expanded its naval presence in the Indian Ocean. In response, India has intensified troop deployments, upgraded its weapon systems, and increased investments in domestic defense manufacturing under the Make in India and Self-Reliant India initiatives. Pakistan remains a secondary but persistent threat. Pakistan's nuclear arsenal and unresolved territorial disputes with India continue to shape Indian strategic planning. India's defense priorities now include deterring China in the Himalayas and Indian Ocean, preparing for a potential two-front war, and acquiring high-tech systems such as drones, naval propulsion, missile defense, and cyber warfare capabilities. The missile deal with the UK also secures 700 jobs at the Thales facility in Northern Ireland, which previously supplied similar systems to Ukraine. Importantly, it marks the beginning of a broader weapons partnership between the UK and India. Both countries are currently negotiating further agreements to co-develop and co-produce complex weapon systems, a move aligned with India's desire to reduce its reliance on foreign suppliers and develop domestic capability. In a parallel development, the UK and India signed an initial $250 million agreement to advance electric propulsion systems for naval vessels. This project not only supports India's efforts to modernize and decarbonize its naval fleet, but also plays into the UK's climate strategy and green tech ambitions. Given China's growing assertiveness in the Indian Ocean, enhancing the Indian Navy's capabilities through sustainable technologies is of increasing strategic importance. Historically, India depended heavily on Russian arms, with Moscow supplying around 45% of Indian weapons imports between 2018 and 2022. However, Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine has crippled its arms production and disrupted deliveries to key buyers, including India. While India has turned to the US, France, and Israel to fill the gap, each partnership comes with its own set of constraints. American deals often involve strict end-use clauses and potential exposure to CAATSA sanctions, measures aimed at punishing countries that purchase Russian arms. In contrast, the UK offers a more flexible, less politically entangled defence relationship. British defence exports are increasingly structured around co-development, technology transfer, and local manufacturing, precisely the kind of arrangement India seeks. This practical, less intrusive model makes Britain an attractive long-term partner, especially as India seeks to diversify its procurement sources and foster indigenous innovation. Beyond defence, the leaders also made headway on the long-anticipated India-UK Free Trade Agreement. With bilateral trade valued at $45 billion in 2023, both sides have set an ambitious target of doubling this figure within 5 years. The FTA negotiations, which began in 2022, aim to cover a wide range of sectors, including digital trade, financial services, green technology, and critical mineral supply chains. The UK's renewed economic engagement with India is part of a larger post-Brexit global trade strategy. By deepening ties with high-growth economies like India, the UK hopes to counterbalance lost EU trade and position itself as a key player in the Indo-Pacific. Starmer's vision includes transforming the UK-India relationship into a long-term strategic alliance, one that spans defence, education, technology, and energy. Training and interoperability are also on the agenda. Prime Minister Modi announced that Indian Air Force instructors would soon begin working with the Royal Air Force, a move that will enhance military familiarity, standardize protocols, and prepare both sides for future joint missions, whether in peacekeeping, humanitarian operations, or combat scenarios. However, differences do remain. After Modi publicly wished Russian President Vladimir Putin a happy birthday, Starmer made it clear he would not be doing the same, reiterating the UK's strong support for Ukraine and its condemnation of Russia's invasion. Still, UK officials stressed that India's policy of strategic autonomy is understood and respected. As Scottish Secretary Douglas Alexander put it, "You can have differences on global issues and still work together strategically. That's the maturity of this relationship." In summary, the UK-India defence partnership is not a product of desperation, but rather a strategic realignment shaped by shifting global realities. For the UK, it's about revitalizing its defense sector, creating jobs, and reasserting itself as a global security player. For India, it's about ensuring military readiness, reducing foreign dependency, and securing access to cutting-edge technology without geopolitical constraints. The agreements signed during this visit, from missile contracts and naval propulsion to AI and climate technology, represent a pivotal moment in the evolution of UK-India relations. As the broader trade deal moves forward, both nations appear poised to transform their historical ties into a forward-looking, multidimensional partnership that meets the challenges of a rapidly changing world.